To watch the latest movie reviews and PR activities, subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell icon. Teachers illuminates our lives like no other. They are the torch bearer. If it wasn't for their selfless services, our life wouldn't be molded so beautifully. And therefore, the season 4 People's Voice is dedicated to all our generous teachers from all around the world. And today's guest is one of them, passionate, hardworking, and dedicated teacher for year 6. Let's just check if he is in the chat room, and here he is. Let me just send him the invite. Pinkush, how you all doing? I hope you all are doing great, enjoying People's Voice Season 4. If you have any question for the guest or for me, you can put it in the comment, and if time permits, we'll try to take as many as questions. I think Jack is in the chat room. Hi, Likit Royal. How you doing? Hey, Jack. Hi.
Hi, how are you doing? Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. Can you hear us? Because your voice is not clear.
I can hear you perfectly, yeah. I'll try and be a bit louder, see if that works.
Yeah, much better now.
Okay.
Jack, let's just start. I have a short introduction for you. Let me just read out that and then we will get into the real conversation.
Okay, perfect.
Jack Fitzgerald, classroom teacher for year 6 at the Cardiff International School, Qatar. Postgraduate Certificate in Education from the University of Nottingham, UK. Formal classroom teacher for years 4 and 5 at the English Primary Group, Kuwait. More than a decade international experience in teaching world. An Irish-born teacher with a natural desire to make a difference through education. A warm welcome to you, Jack, on People's Voice Season 4.
Thank you very much. That was a lovely introduction.
Jack, at the onset, I would like to brief us all about a bit about your personal and professional life.
Yeah, well, as you said, I'm from Ireland and I've been teaching in the Middle East since 2010, so just about a decade now. And yeah, just the usual kind of interest in terms of personal life, you know, trying to be active and travel and music and all those kind of things. So that's just the personal side of it. But professionally, yeah, I've spent quite a long time in the Middle East teaching primary school. And yeah, that's just kind of me in a nutshell.
That's great. And yes, I did see in your profile all your working experience is in the Middle East. So what is the most enticing aspect about working in the Middle East, of course, apart from the remuneration?
Yeah, well, I think it was almost accidental that I came out here initially because when I graduated in 2010, I wanted to travel and I think there wasn't many opportunities in Ireland at the time. So I decided to take a chance in Dubai and I ended up staying there for 5 years, which was a great experience. And from there, I've moved to Qatar and then I was in Kuwait for a while and I'm back in Qatar at the moment. So yeah, I've just, you know, kind of came out here on a whim and liked it and stayed for such a long time. I suppose just the opportunity to travel and meet people and experience something different was what enticed me initially, and I think that's a big reason why I stayed so long as well. You know, and I think you can teach anywhere in the world. It's kind of the job that, you know, kids are kids everywhere you go. So, you know, you pick somewhere you like and you can do it anywhere you want, really.
That's great. So it means your experience with people in the Middle East so far so good and that's how you are moving within the Middle East.
Yeah, I've had a great time out here. You know, the people are lovely and you meet people from all over, not just the locals, but it's such a mix of nationalities out here. And I think I quite enjoy that. So it's been a big positive for me. Yeah.
I'm sure our experience are likewise. Even I love being in the Middle East, and I am glad that you are serving the selfless service to the Middle East students.
Thank you.
Jack, I am interacting for people's voice in numerous teachers and talking to them. I understood that there are different teaching process for different teachers. Throw some light on your personal teaching process, what it looks like.
Yeah, well, just my approach to teaching, I think, is consistency. First of all, when I'm dealing with students, I think if you're kind of consistent and reliable in your approach, the students know where they stand with you, and then from there they know how to behave and they can relax into a classroom environment when they know what kind of person you are. So as long as you're kind of steady and consistent with your approach, you'll always be successful enough, I think. The other thing is just to try and make it enjoyable. I teach primary school, and if you're too serious or if it's too content heavy and you're just making kids try and learn off things, they'll never really engage. So trying to make it enjoyable and have a laugh with them at the same time is a big factor in it, I think. So just making sure they know what they're supposed to bring when they come into the classroom in terms of like their attitude and their approach, and then also meeting them halfway and trying to make it engaging and reward them for having a positive approach. I think that's kind of what's worked for me anyway. So that's how I approach it. I think consistency and enjoyment.
So you mean that you try to make the studies more playful, more interactive, and more entertaining for kids so that they don't find it boring and
And for me
just
too, yeah. The worst thing is to be sitting there when somebody's lecturing you. You're never going to
true.
want to engage. You're never going to want to engage in a content or in a lesson if somebody's just talking at you. So I think it's important to make it, interactive and constantly be changing it up and making sure that they're doing something different most days, rather than just reading from a book all the time or having you talk at them. Kids don't enjoy that, and they'll switch off very quickly if that's what you do. So yeah, trying to find ways to make it enjoyable.
Absolutely. After interacting with so many teachers, now I really liking the way different teacher have different approach. And as you said, your approach playing with them and then in a way teaching them, it's also again something new I got to know. And as I said, the teaching job is a selfless job, and one will be proud to be a teacher. What if I have to ask, what is your proudest moments so far? What it will be with it as a teacher, with interacting with kids, anything?
I think there's been a few moments, but they've all kind of centered around the same idea of, you have a student at the start of the year who really isn't interested or is struggling. And then over time, it's not really one moment, it's over time you see them, change a little bit before your eyes. And hopefully by the end of the school year, they've kind of reignited that kind of interest in learning and they've progressed in some way. So that's kind of where you feel a bit of pride at the end of the journey when you see that they've improved or they've gained something from being in your classroom. And sometimes they'll acknowledge it and sometimes they won't, but they're just happy to be learning and to be in the classroom. That's when you're sure that you're doing a good job. So when the kids are happy to come into your classroom and take part, that's a good moment for me, I think.
So over the time, the improvement when you see in your kids, that makes you feel proud that what you're teaching is getting implemented, and you can see in their overall improvement.
Yeah, definitely. That's the kind of feedback you want. As a teacher, the only person that matters is the student, really. And that's the final result is if they're, I don't think it's about results or anything like that. I think it's about the approach to learning and understanding. If the kids enjoy learning, it'll be a lifelong thing, as opposed to just, if it's just one result, that's, results can go up and down. But if they enjoy taking part in lessons and enjoy learning, that's lifelong. So I think for me, that's the important thing.
Absolutely. I think this is what the teacher want to see, what they are teaching in their action, in their improvements.
Definitely, definitely.
Jack, unfortunately, we are in a, from last almost a year, we are in a scenario where everything is upside down due to obvious reason, COVID. COVID made our lives upside down, especially for teacher. They are in a phase which is, I believe, that is the most challenging phase when it comes to teaching. So, how you personally coping up with this scenario?
Yeah, it definitely has been difficult, and we've just tried to adapt as best as we could. I don't think it's ever going to be perfect. Compared to being in the classroom, you don't have the same amount of interaction. Even if you're, on a screen in front of the kids, you can't. It's the small interactions that really make a lesson. So you can convey the information, you can teach the lesson, but the opportunities for learning are in the small moments, where you have the one-on-one interaction with the kid. You might just be looking over their shoulder at what they've worked on and giving a little pointer, something like that. So yeah, it's definitely been more difficult in that sense. Zoom and things like that, that's what we're using at the moment. It's made it possible to have some kind of lesson. And then, we have online resources like Class Dojo and even just, Google Drive and stuff. We can send documents. So the fact that we have some access and some ability to connect with them is a positive, I suppose. Otherwise, the kids would regress quite a bit. So you have to kind of look at the glass half full, I suppose, instead of looking at the negatives. We have some ability to interact with them, and we have to take advantage of that and just try and keep a positive attitude. Because I think, as long as the kids realize that we're still there to help, they will make an effort. We just have to make it as easy as possible for them to access the information, the lessons, and to provide their work for us to give feedback. So if we can just, make it as smooth as possible, that's going to kind of, reduce the stress that involved in this whole situation. So I think that's the only thing we can do is just use the tools we have and try and carry on as best we can, and do our best.
Yeah, true. And we are glad that we are in a time where technology is so advanced. At least we are in a touch with studies with the students. Otherwise, if this is not there, then it would be like nothing, complete, close, shut down.
Yeah, because even 10 years ago, I don't think we would have been able to do lessons the way we can do them now. So I know the timing is never perfect for something like this, but at least we have some tools. All the children have access to smartphones and iPads and everything nowadays. So, they can still take part in lessons. So that's quite important.
True, true. Something is better than nothing always.
Yeah, for sure.
Jack, now we got to know you have 10 more than decades of experience in the Middle East in the teaching world. So I was wondering what will be the next for you on professional front?
Well, I quite enjoy being in the classroom. I've been head of year and I've done things like that, being in charge of departments and things. But I always go back to the classroom. I'm always in the classroom, and that's where I'm, happiest, I suppose. So for me, the next few years will just, I think I'd like to stay in the classroom. It's not about becoming maybe something will come up and I'd kind of become a vice principal or something like that. But I wouldn't mind if it doesn't. I quite enjoy teaching, and the reason I have been in teaching this long is because I enjoy what I do. And for me, I'm happy to, just keep doing what I'm doing. It's I get a lot of enjoyment out of it, and it really suits, what I want to do. So yeah, for me, the next few years, I'll be here in Qatar, hopefully for the next few years, just doing my best.
Uh-huh. So for now, you just want to get back to the classroom, actual physical classroom teaching.
Yeah, that would be great, to have a full class in front of me and to be able to interact like before. And hopefully we're getting closer to that.
Hopefully soon. And it's great to hear that you are happy in your current job, what you are doing. Not many can say that. I do not get to hear that often that people are happy with what they are doing. So I'm glad that you are happy with your job, and hopefully you teachers like you will get back to physical classroom very soon.
Yeah,
Uh,
hopefully.
Hopefully. Jack, we are almost towards the end of this session, but before you leave, I want to check if you have a pulse of wisdom for those who would like to embark their journey in the teaching world.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. I would say just not to focus too much on mistakes. I think when you start teaching, you're always stressed about making little mistakes and you want everything to be perfect. And that's a great attitude to have. But I've seen a lot of teachers, burn out very quickly by focusing on making sure there's no mistakes. I think when you're dealing with children, there's always going to be something unexpected and you're going to have to roll with it. So for me, I think if you're starting out in teaching, just try and ride the rough patches as best you can, and just make sure that you don't lose sight of the actual objective, which is just to deliver good lessons. I think some people focus on having perfect plans and making sure everything, all the paperwork is correct, and then they get to a lesson and they're tired and stressed, and they lose sight of the fact that the lesson needs to be enjoyable, and it's for the students at the end of the day. So I would say, just accept that there's going to be rough patches. You're going to make mistakes, but don't stress. You don't have to be perfect all the time. It's always, you have to try your best, and that's always going to be good enough. So I think if you do that, you'll be able to last in this job for a while.
Very well said, Jack. Don't get afraid to make mistakes. There will be rough ways, rough path challenges, but one needs to just go on, enjoy the journey.
Exactly, that's it. Yeah, just like everything else, I suppose, especially nowadays, you have to be able to deal with the bad as well as the good. So yeah, just not to stress, do your best, and it'll work out.
Mm-hmm. With that, thank you so much, Jack. It was lovely chatting with you. I hope that the budding teachers will get to learn something new from our conversation, or the teachers who are watching our conversation enjoy this session.
Thanks very much for having me. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye bye.
So that was the fabulous teacher Jack joined in from Qatar. If you have any questions related to our conversation, or you want to ask anything to our speaker, please do comment below this video, and I or the speaker will get back to you as soon as possible. Just remember, let us just remember, one book, one pen, one child, and the one teacher can change the world. Malala. With that, signing off, Nasima Khan. Take care, stay safe, bye bye.